everyone. Good evening. Teacher Wei and fellow students. My story is a bit different. It's actually a bit realistic because I basically fell ill last year in August 2014, and this happened at work. So I happened to go in the evening to the toilet, and when I finished I just looked down and I can see some blood in there. So I decided to go see my doctor, and they said, look, it's a urine infection, we give you some medication. And they gave me some medication, didn't work. A couple of days later it happened again. So she sent me for some tests. Test came up clear. So she said, look, you better go see the specialist. So I went back and see the specialist, and he put me on a stronger medication. So that didn't work, and he decided, well, we got to go in, have a look, and see what's going on. So I said, yeah, that's fine. So we arranged for a date in August last year. I went in, and before he put me to sleep, I said, look, if you go in there, you see something, fix it. Don't try to wake me up because I'm sleeping. So he said, look, it's going to be about 10 minutes. So I said, oh, that's fine. And my wife came to pick me up, and she's been sitting in the reception for more than an hour. It took over an hour, and when they went in and had a look, unfortunately I had some surgery about 6 years ago. They had left a clip in. So that ended up causing what they call a stricture, and it's a collapsed urethra. So to cut a long story short, I have no choice but to go every couple of months or 2 months, between 1 month and 2 months, for them to open up, So this was going on, and at this point, I'm a born Christian, and I decided, well, I need a change in my life. So I told a friend, I said, look, we're going through a bad patch. I need you to introduce me to, I want to follow Buddhism. So I come from Sri Lanka. That's where I was born, and Buddhism has been part of that culture, but I was a Christian, so I decided, well, this is the way I want to go. But I said, look, I want a modern day priest. So my friend introduced me to Rinpoche, who's our translator now, and he took me under his wing. He came, visited our house, and I said, look, I want you to come bless our house. And look, my background is Catholic, my wife is Roman Catholic, but we are quite open, we are modern day, so please go ahead, do what you think is best. So once he finished everything, he said, look, I want to introduce you to something else. It's called Longevitology. And I thought, oh, not one of those things again. I didn't know what it was, to be honest with you, because I work in the city in a corporate job, and anybody working in the city will know every corner you have somebody preaching, I can help you, I can bless you, I can do this, you're a sinner, you need to follow a religion, and all these things. And I thought, oh. So I know Rinpoche looked at my face and said, listen, this is non-religious, just come, try it out. If you're not happy, that's fine. Being modern day, I thought, well, I believe in the universe a lot. And I said, well, all right, when's the next class? He said, look, the next one is on Wednesday at my place, and then on Saturdays at Doncaster. So we arranged to go in there on Wednesday, and they commenced Longevitology there for my wife and myself. And through the procedure, I felt like suddenly there was this flash of light. It's like, I can only describe it as somebody with a camera taking a photo, It was so bright. And I opened my eyes and I thought, what's Rinpoche doing? He's taking photographs of me. To see, there was nobody there in front. And I thought to myself, okay, this is a bit strange. So anyway, going back home with my wife, I said, something really weird happened there. She said, what's that? So I said, well, after a while, I felt this flash. And she said, guess what? I felt the same too. And she said, I looked around wondering who's taking photographs of this. So she said, you know, and driving back home, we felt very calm, we felt very different. It was a sensation we cannot describe, it's beyond words. And I said, well, I think we should just keep following this, you know, and see where it takes us. So we used to visit Glen Waverley and Doncaster on a regular basis and whenever we could. And coming back to it, sort of for logical reasons, we couldn't go all the time. And my condition was getting worse and worse. And many times Rinpoche offered to come over to my place. And I said, look, I don't want to trouble you because I live so far away and you got to drive and there's traffic and all these things. But he was insistent and I kept pushing him back. What reason, I don't know, but I was feeling sorry for him because I was thinking, why should I put somebody else in, you know, so much pain? I rather, that pain is mine, I better have my pain. But he was insistent. And then I had to go for my last procedure, which was, well, one of the last procedures, which was August last year, towards the end. And basically, 3 after that, they had to manually do the dilation, which they call it. But I was bleeding really bad. And the last one was so bad that I ended up in the emergency because it all got blocked completely. And when I went into emergency, they tried to pass the catheter, didn't go in. Then the doctor came in from the emergency and he tried, and he said, look, we can't. In the meantime, they're changing containers of blood, you know, because it just starts passing so much of blood and they can't stop it. So they had to call my surgeon. He, by the way, was getting ready to go on holidays. So, but he's a very, very nice guy. He came all the way from the other side of town to the hospital and he did it just like that in 2 seconds. And the doctor came from the emergency and said, I don't know what he did, you know, he puts us all to shame, we do this every day. And he went away. So they sent me home with a bag and a tube. So, and they said, look, keep it there for a week and we'll see how we go. But throughout the procedures when they were doing, when I went there, it was all full of blood, you know, it's mixed with, because I've got to consume a lot of water to flush everything out. And it was all red and I was so worried thinking, I'm losing this amount of blood, something's going to happen to me very soon, you know. So they did a test and they found that my platelet count was normal, but still, you know, there's a lot of blood. You know, each time I go and change the bag or empty the bag, there's a lot of blood. So then I told my wife, I said, look, for some reason, I completely forgot about Longevitology and its adjustment because of what I had been going through. So I told my wife, this was happened on a Friday, so all Friday, you know, there's blood, Saturday. Then I said, look, I'm going to call Rinpoche and ask him if he can come. So I sent a message and I said, Rinpoche, this is what's happened to me. Do you think you can please come along and do some adjustment for me? And he said, as usual, sure, no worries. I'll see you tomorrow morning. And I said, oh, well, that's good. Let's give this a try. So he sent me a message saying he's going to come with a couple of others. That was Mei Lin, who kindly obliged to come, Lou, May, and Helen, and Rinpoche. They came on Sunday. Now, till then, all night, all the time after my surgery, the bag was always with blood, the tube was always with blood. So they came, and there was 3 people who did adjustment for me. And suddenly I found that after a while of adjustment, I can only describe it as if you're sitting in a pool with water up to your neck. That's how I felt. And then suddenly after a while, I can feel this water going down, 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 you know, until it reached below my abdomen. And then I found that, you know, my whole pants and everything was like a bit wet. And I thought, oh, I'm bleeding now, for sure, you know. So I told Rinpoche, look, I need to go and do a change. So I went into the bathroom, and I took my pants off, and I looked down, and the bag is full of blood, but the tube is all water. And I thought to myself, this is really strange. So I called my wife, and I said, look, have a look at this. All these days, the bag and the tube was all red with blood and water. And in the morning before they came for adjustment, also it was red because I emptied the bag. And now I find that the bag had a little bit of blood, but everything going out from there was full of the water. So, and continuously after that, it was all clear. So I had to go on the Wednesday to get the bag and the tube out. So when I went to the surgery, I thought, oh, this is gonna bleed again, and you know, I'll be back in hospital. And I went there, and then the lady called me in, and she said, look, it's going to bleed a little bit. I said, if it's a little bit, it's fine. But if it's a lot, it's a problem. Because the specialist is not there, nobody's going to be able to pass the tube through. And I was telling Rinpoche too, I said, you know, pray for me, Rinpoche. And she said, okay, you take a deep breath. So I took a deep breath, and she took the tube out, and she said, oh, this is a bit strange. Not even a drop of blood.
Wow.
So, of course, there was a little bit after exercise and stuff like that. So, but the main story is that, you know, it's a gift that has been given to all of us, Longevitology. Thank you, Teacher Wayne, for sharing your great knowledge and help. And I'm sure my dream has always been to be able to help others. So this is probably what it is. So thank you very much.